this game of emotions we play. Oh, hey guys, how's it going? This is Rose here, and why am I doing that? That was weird. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another narration of A Big Kid of Hope. So, you might have noticed that I was gonna make it last narration, it was part of a narration session I was having. I was supposed to make it a chapter 45, but that didn't happen because my brother actually arrived home earlier. So, yeah, so we're gonna be doing chapters 43 to 45 and then some more later, because I have a lot of time in my hands and I'm waiting for my PS4 controller to stop charging or be completely charged so I can, you know, play some video games more. But all that junk, you know, it's just junk. You don't need to hear that. That's junk. Why am I repeating the word junk? I know, it's a very good word. Junk. Alright. Oh, man, what the fuck am I doing? Stop fucking around. Alright. And this is why I get nothing done. Alright. So, we're going to begin chapters 43 to 45. Yeah. It's actually been a while since I've narrated. And how long has it been actually since I've last narrated? It's probably been a shit ton of time since the last one. Hold on, let me check. It's been a month. Okay. So, you know, that isn't a very long time, obviously. And, you know, I'm gonna have it's gonna be a great time. It's gonna be a great time. Anyways, let's just get to it, everyone. I just took forever just so I could put some music on. Alright, so here's chapter 43, everyone. A cat's follow-up. You know, obviously this POV is gonna be Blake's fucking pronunciations. Alright. I hummed softly to myself as I looked. Fuck! Man, I already fucked up. That's why, like, the quickest amount of time it took me to screw up. Alright, I hummed softly to myself as I looked through the kitchen fridge. Along the bottom shelf is a nearly empty gallon of milk that I purchased yesterday after going to the nearest store in the small town about a mile away. I take out the gallon and pour the rest of its contents into an average-sized cup, carrying it back to the living room with me. I just finished watching an episode of Claymore, not the explosive by the way, and plan on watching a second episode while the two lovebirds continue their infinite lip lock on the couch. Sheesh. Those two are able to stay so still in a kiss. Ying and I always start to move around a bit. Hate to admit it, but her and I are restless. I grab my scroll from the seat of the recliner, sitting myself on the chair and pulling my bare feet onto the large seat as well as to lay my scroll on my lap, making it much easier for me to watch my anime on my scroll. I look over to my left, raising an eyebrow as I see RWBY taking a possessive hold of Weiss's ass. Yang does the exact same thing, except she usually. I blink, hearing and seeing this lap to follow. I turn my head to the right, away from the two of them, and towards the window as I fight to hold in my laughter. RWBY is just like Yang in all the wrong ways. Or right ways if you are Weiss. Those two look nothing like each other, but I guess they have their own habits that are a lot alike. I shake my head, a smile across my lips as I go back to watching Claymore. It becomes another obvious episode. I have not gone too far into the anime, but I already can tell that Rocky will become the annoying little brother type to Claire, as well as possibly grow to have some sort of affections for her that will not be returned, although I have been wrong before. I admire the swordsmanship of Claire and the way she handles the large weapon, reminding me of a student I saw at Beacon one day who wore a blade of the same caliber on his back, yet accompanied it by 2 katanas on each hip. I never knew someone to need 3 separate weapons, although I have heard of a sword style that utilizes 3 blades. Yet with one of his weapons being a claymore, I doubt he has any knowledge of the style. The episode itself is full of head shakes, more head shakes, followed by Rocky being a dumbass and Claire needing to bail him out after he is captured by Yoma, the name for the demon/monster things in the Claymore world. Or demon or monster things. Okay, fucking idiot. Rocky, either you will become an eternal burden, or you will finally become useful. If I had my choice, I would rather you just die and stop holding Claire back. I huff, turning my head to check on RWBY and Weiss. Not surprised to see that they are still in the same place, but there is a slight difference I plan on taking advantage of. Since my anime is finished, I shift my scroll to the camera and take a silent picture of the two. Or rather the blue and white panties of Weiss and the red and black panties of Ruby in the form of an upskirt. This will earn me a favor at some point during the winter break. I grin and place my scroll back on my lap. I turn my head to look out the window just in time to see Yang coming up the walkway towards the house. Ouch. Sorry, you two. Guess your romancing is over for now. I look back at the romancing duo, hearing whispers going on between the two, and find a quick moment to cut in. As sweet as you two are, I guess I should say that Ruby is wearing black with red lined panties. Weiss is wearing ice blue with white lined panties. Serves you two right for wearing your combat skirts, I say in my bluntest tone. The amusing result is Weiss rolling off of Ruby in a panic and pulling down her skirt, with Ruby doing the same, but staying on the sofa. After the recovery, Ruby sits up with her legs still draped over the arm of the sofa, but her skirt is in a much more conservative position. She has her cheeks puffed out and a look of disapproval on her face, while Weiss is staring down at the floor in clear embarrassment. Really, Blake? You couldn't let it slide a few more minutes? She scolds me. But when a door opens and Yang enters, a look of apology and realization appears on Ruby's face, as well as Weiss, who passes me a surprised look. Actually, I waited until the last possible moment. Welcome back, Yang. I smile at Yang as she passes by the doorway, and when she is far enough that the wall obstructs Ruby and Weiss's view of her, she takes the moment to wink at me and blow a kiss. You insufferable tease. How long were we like that? I hear Weiss ask. I turning my head to her as I think briefly. Oh, I smile, turning my head to her as I think briefly. Let's see. 2 episodes and a milk break. That is about 45 minutes. I watched 2 episodes of Claymore on my scroll while you two were busy. I keep my voice under control. It was a pretty long hallway to the kitchen, but I'm still not sure exactly how far sound can travel in this house. It is something I need to look into to feed a pet, a peeve of mine that I have, but I have not had the unfortunate event of testing it out yet. I like to know everything about my surroundings, and even Yang and Ruby's home is no different. Certain habits in the White Fang die hard. Other habits just don't die at all. And this happens to be one of them. Claymore? Weiss asks. Immediately my eyes dart to her, but Ruby's quicker on the draw and goes into a brief explanation with her lightning fast wording. And then she says one of the few things, not the fucking explosive. I sit back and do my best to follow along, opening my eyes once her words stop and she is carefully working herself to her feet, careful to not step on Weiss and instead help the heiress up. Only you two, I swear, Weiss mumbles, and I simply shrug my shoulders, although I am sure the gesture was not seen. Let's go to the kitchen and help out Yang, Ruby says, and my eyes immediately dart to the mistletoe hanging in the doorway. Ruby, you little mastermind. Yang already caught me with that. I can't believe you would stoop to such a level just for one more kiss. Actually, I'm not surprised at all now that I think about it. I wish you luck, Weiss. I watch as the two of them begin to walk, and I lean up in the recliner to watch a small battle for a simple kiss that will surely erupt. I got you, Weiss. Huh? What the hell are you talking about, dolt? Look up, Ruby whispers, and Weiss's face borders between surprise and annoyance after spotting the mistletoe. Dolt, you already got your kiss. Nice try. I watch as Weiss turns away, impressing me at her lack of scolding to the little red. However, that doesn't seem to be the end of it. I watch as Ruby taps Weiss on the shoulder, and when the snow-haired girlfriend turns around, Ruby uses her semblance to go to the other side of Weiss, poking the opposite shoulder and now repeating the process. I fight away my giggles, watching Ruby do so one more time, and this time Weiss shouts out her disapprovals with little knowledge that Ruby is right on the other side of her, waiting to pounce. However, the last thing Ruby needs to do is pounce, since Weiss turns right into a kiss that Ruby was clearly waiting for. And before Weiss can get her hands on Ruby to surely scold the poor scythe wielder, she disappears again. Ruby Rose, when I get my hands on you! I am sure Weiss and Yang are not aware of where Ruby is. With my ears, I am able to pick up creaking upstairs along with the jingling of the doorknob being turned. Ruby is most likely in her room. While Weiss walks into the kitchen, I slide to my feet and make my way to the doorway into the hall. Right across the hallway is a staircase that runs parallel to the hallway and leads upstairs. I go up to the 2nd floor and make a left turn. I bypass the first door on my right that has an achievement poster on it. That is Yang's room. The next door I pass has no design on it, but does have an extra lock on it. This, as far as I'm aware of, is the room of Yang and Ruby's father. The door I want is at the end of the hall. It has the outline of a red rose painted on it, and very professionally done, I might add. Among the top of the door I read, Summer's Little Rose. I guess Ruby's favorite season is summer? I step up to the door, carefully turning the knob to walk in. Ruby's laying down in her bed, looking at the ceiling with her arms behind her head and a smile plastered on her face. I'm glad she came, Ruby says while I close the door behind me. Her room has a very novel design to it. Her door takes up the center of the wall, leaving room for a wide dresser to the left of where I am currently standing, which is where she holds her brushes, and the hair dyeing that she begged Yang to buy on Ren's recommendation. Ever since the dance, Ruby has taken time to try out different colors, but ultimately went back to the white tips since Weiss loved them so much. Ruby's walls are a crimson color, except for a section of each wall, starting from a foot above the floor and below, which are black instead. With a color scheme like this, I assume Ruby took the time to paint it herself. Her bed is along the far side of the room, directly ahead of me and perpendicular in respect to me. Her bed is against the wall, and right above her bed is a window that gives a clear view of the night sky, along with a moderately sized forest in her backyard. Patch was an island that was mostly suburbs and forest. A suburban neighborhood usually had a forest nearby, and this home was right next to the largest forest on Patch. It's a forest that has been known to be the home of a few Grimm, but the Grimm on Patch are known to keep to themselves, oddly enough. The Grimm defend their forest home and have never been known to step outside the forest. At least that's what I was told by both Yang and Ruby. I could tell. You related when you saw her. I'm glad you didn't tackle her, I say while taking quiet strides over the Ruby's bed and sitting down at the edge. The moment I do, Ruby tugs me further back, getting me to sit with more of my rear and thighs on the bed, and takes the opportunity to readjust herself to lay her head on my lap. Both you and Yang are obsessed with my lap. I don't see the appeal. I roll my eyes, but ultimately end up smiling. Oh, please. You lay your head in Yang's lap all the time, Ruby counters, and a small blush covers my face and a surprise to her quick counter. Yang is a walking superheater. Her lap helps me sleep and it has helped you sleep in the same way, according to her. I look down to the silver eyes. Fair enough. I haven't seen you with eye rings in a while. Didn't want to say anything, but it used to remind me of a raccoon. I shake my head at how nonchalantly she is. I say nonchalantly, but whatever. She's able to say something like that. But the entire team was saying I look like crap. Even Yang was able to debate that my academics and combat effectiveness was beginning to waver. And unfortunately, she was right, and I was completely aware of it too. You're one to talk. The way you stuff your face with cookies will always remind me of a chipmunk. I grin, watching Ruby puff her cheeks and hide her face against my stomach. She is far too cute for her own good. Anyway, now that Weiss is here, where's that place you want to take her to tomorrow? I reach down, ruffling Little Red's hair and eventually coaxing her face off of my stomach. Oh, I want to take her to the forest out back. There's a very pretty creek back there that I found. I just need to make sure she brings me an aster, because there are some Borbotusk and Beowulfs back there. Ruby sits up from my lap to gaze out the window near her bedside. You know, I went back there one time when I was younger. I got lost and found that creek. I thought, hey, if I follow it, then I will find the ocean or something. As long as I am in the outskirts, I know my way home. Well, this was before I learned how to use Crescent Rose. Even before I made her, and I came by a pack of Borbotusks. Look at the serious look forming in Ruby's eyes while she still gazes out the window. All I could do was run, and they were just so fast. It was in that, well, I saw a tree so far ahead of me, and within a second I was right in front of it, but I didn't think how I got there so fast. I kept running, using the furthest tree in my sights as a marker for where to run, and somehow I got out right in my backyard. The serious look on Ruby's face disappears. She turns to me with a smile on her lips and a tear rolling down her right cheek. I reach out to hug her. I'm not sure what is wrong, but the moment I see a tear on her face, the first thing I think of is a hugger. However, this time she shakes her head and gently pushes my extended arm away. That creek is special to me. It's where I first discovered my semblance. And it was the first time my baby steps turned into leaps on my road to becoming a huntress. If I never wandered into that forest, then who knows how long it would have been until I learned my semblance. And by then, I may never have gotten to Beacon as early as I did. I would never have been in the same year as Yang, met you, or got to know Weiss, even though she yelled at me for most of the first semester. Ruby smiles. sliding off of her bed and raising her arms over her head to stretch. Anyway, I'm going to go get some of the cookies Yang bought me. Want some? I still can't understand how she was able to shift her tone so quickly. She is the definition of a child. I'll pass. I'm going to take a nap. I stand up, placing a hand on Ruby's head as I pass by her. When I leave her room, I can see her jog past me and dash down the steps in a fluid motion. As for myself, I go into Yang's room. Her room is identical to Ruby's, except she has scattered posters of boy bands on her walls. Her walls are predominantly white, with the bottom of half being golden yellow. Yang has her bed on the far side of the room, and she also has a window above her bed. On each side of the window, she has a wall poster of her Ember Celica, and underneath each image is a word. Under the image on the left is the word "my" in a fancy cursive writing, and in the same writing underneath the other picture is the word "babies." I swear, Yang obsesses over her weapons just as much as Ruby, although I still cannot decide who is worse. In the sense that I am not sure if it is worse that Yang calls her Ember Celica my babies, or that Ruby calls her Crescent Rose my sweetheart. I'll think about this another time. I shrug my shoulders. Hear a good commotion downstairs of White scolding Ruby for already eating cookies and Ruby letting out muffled sounds in retaliation. I bet she has a mouthful of cookies that sound like that. I don't hear Yang at all. So I assume she is just putting away the rest of the groceries while those two have their common mini argument. Well, it is a bit more active with Weiss here at least. I wonder how she will handle meeting their Uncle Crow and their father. She's a wreck with her obsession with first impressions. I make sure to close Yang's door behind with Weiss here at least. I wonder how she will handle meeting their Uncle Crow and their father. She's a wreck with her obsession with first. The fuck! I literally just talking shit! I fucking hate myself. I make sure to close Yang's door behind me and make my way over to her bed. She has a light purple bedsheet that's a few shades lighter than her eyes, a quilt to match a white pillowcase. It's a little out of the ordinary color scheme for Yang, but I guess even she can get a bit lazy with colors. I carefully climb onto the bed, placing my forearms underneath the pillow to elevate it slightly while I lay my head down. I don't bother covering myself and just move the covers against the wall while I face the same direction and eventually drift away into a peaceful sleep. See, I don't know if this is supposed to be a typo, but I see in parentheses in large caps, line here, and parentheses. Anyways, over 9 hours of precious catnapping later. Oh, this is the lyrics for I Burn. You know, actually I'm gonna go pull it up so I can do the actual rap, because I haven't heard of it in a long time. And I really want to hear it again. It sounds so fucking cool. Feel my fire, pyromaniac, my desire. Thought that you could see the truth till I just put down the booth. Oh man. I roll over to see Yang standing with her back towards me. She's on the floor doing push-ups and whispering a song that is playing on her headphones. She's wearing what looks like a black sports bra and matching black boy shorts. By the way, tell me how I did with that rap. When I look next to me on the bed, I see that her scroll is displaying a song, and I realize she has her headphones connected to her scroll to listen to music. Not something I would use a scroll for, but I suppose it works. She's not singing that loud. How can I even hear her? My bow usually... I pause, reaching up to touch my ears. Instead of feeling the soft fabric of my bow, I feel the soft fur in my ears let out a loud sigh. I must have been in such a deep sleep and can't bear to imagine that Yang would have the self-control to only touch my ears. Oh man. Human Torch can fuck with me. Johnny Blaze, suspect B. Striking quick, lightning fast. Melt the bitches down to ash. Oh man. I'm gonna have to keep on like replaying it, going with that, then doing more of it. I saw she keeps singing while doing her push-ups. I carefully move her scroll to the other side of me, giving me room to roll off of the bed and landing on my fingers and toes silently. As I land, I can also see the ribbon from my bow on the floor. Gasoline, kerosene, strike the match, ignite the scene. Shit will never be the same. Feel the flare of a fuck! Fucking dog! I can't believe me! I can't believe it! Fuck! No! Okay, whatever. I fucked that up, so you guys can literally just criticize me for that. She's getting slightly louder with the lyrics. Thankfully, I'm already up. I stand up to walk behind her, being very careful as I place my legs on either sides of her calves, then slowly place my hands below her arms. I make sure to position myself directly above her for the moment, but not let myself make contact while she continues to do her push-ups. Your mercy, it won't help but embrace the ending you were dealt. Seems you fucks will never learn. Now sit back and watch me burn. Oh man. I can see it tensing Yang's lower back, arms, and legs. You know, I actually kept repeating "oh man" every time I did it. I am not sure how long she has been at this, but her body's sharpening up to adapt to the firm pace she developed. I'm sure she'll appreciate the help and training. I smiled to myself, lowering myself on her back. I fear her slap out of her trance and turn her head to look at me, but her hair is obstructing her vision. I shake my head, taking off her headphones and moving her hair away from her face. I lift my legs off the floor, wrapping them around her inner thighs and placing my arms around her abdomen to hold myself on top of her. Hey, kitty cat, Yang says with a smile on her face. Although I answer with an unamused look. Did I say stop your workout? Keep going. How many have you done so far? I ask. Yang giggles and faces the floor once again. I tense my grip on her when she lowers herself and make out a slight squeal when she pushes herself up. Yeah. I do 2 more times. I adapt to her pace. If you could do 50 of these, I'll keep my bow off for the night. Speaking of which, do you know how it came off of my ears? I whisper into her ear. I have no idea, kitty cat, but I guess it's not going on until tomorrow. 50 is not a problem for me. I chuckle as Yang begins to speed herself up, mumbling each number underneath her breath while I count in my head. 7, 8, 9. I see. So you really think you could do 50 with me on your back? I begin tracing my fingers along the creases of her abs, admiring the firm six-pack she has developed so far. Hey, that tickles, stop it! She shakes her hips to get me to stop while she continues her push-ups, not halting in the slightest. 16, 17, 18. I never said I would just sit quietly and not make it more challenging for you. You know me better than that, Yang Xiaolong. I smirk, dragging my left hand slowly up her form to trace the bottom of her sports bra. At the same time, I hear the roaring of a nearby car. The sound is like thunder that echoes in my ears, and throughout the suburbs, even with Yang's window closed. Who would need to take off like that in the suburbs? Dirty game, Blake. Dirty game. Yang answers as she continues on with her reps. She is already halfway done, and I am not surprised to see no signs of fatigue in her body. Yang has always been at the peak of the physical condition, but she isn't the best at keeping her cool when it comes to me. I'm glad to know I have a strong effect on her. It lets me know how genuine her feelings for me are. She would love to use that as a form of fun. Hold on a second. Pause for a second. Sorry about that, I'm back. My mother was calling me and I realized I have to call her about groceries because we don't have any drinks in the fridge and I really, my throat is actually very dry at the moment. I'm actually surprised that I can actually even talk during all of this. Oh, I forgot I drank some water before all this. I'm an idiot. Anyways, she is already halfway done. I'm not surprised to see no signs of fatigue in her body. Oh wait, never mind. Dirty game? What kind, Yang? I smirk, opening my yukata far enough for her to feel the fabric of my bra on her back. Just between her shoulders, I lean down to her ear, kissing the top of it before I continue. Strip poker may be a game to play. You haven't seen me completely naked yet, have you? I feel her right arm slip, but just before her upper body can touch the floor, she would plant it and adjust her balance accordingly. Shit, so close. 28, 29, 30. Yang whispers during sharp exhales. She's doing her best to ignore me, but even my blonde brawler has a limit. Maybe if you win in poker, we could take a bath together. Think about it. A nice hot shower with your bare kitty in your arms. I begin to purr. Her arms started to shake, but she still continues, fighting to make it a 50. 33! 34! She's resistant today. Wait, is someone here? I divert my attention away for a moment. Someone is entering the house. It must finally be Yang's father. I suppose I still have a few minutes before Yang and I will need to go downstairs, so I guess I should end this now. 40! Whoa! When did she get to 40? Why are you ignoring me, Yang? Don't you love me? I begin kissing along her ear and neck, waiting for her to crack. Several shivers are rubbed throughout her body, but she holds firm. Although she begins to slow down drastically, allowing me more chances to get her to slip up. 45! Yang screams, her aura making a brief burst. Whatever she has been doing prior definitely took a toll on her. I can hear several drops of sweat hitting the wooden floor below us, and when I peek down I see a small puddle begin to form. She's actually breaking a sweat. My poor brawler. Not nice to ignore me, Yang. What happens if I am in a heat cycle right now? That would make you a really bad girlfriend to ignore that. Especially when I trace my tongue around her ear once more, dragging my left hand over her left breast and take a quick grasp of it over her top. Need you to love me. And that's the icing on the cake. Damn it, that hurt like a bitch! Wait, okay, I can actually, okay. The shivers within Yang eventually show visibly in her arms, and just as she reaches 49, her right arm gives out and she rolls over onto her back, also sending me tumbling off of her and a few feet to her side. Damn it, that hurt like a bitch! I hiss, reaching underneath me to rub my back. I turn my head to look over at Yang, but she's not there. Instead, I see a hand slam down next to my head and interrupt my view. When I turn up my head, I can see an angry blonde looming over me with red eyes. I swear, kitty cat, if you keep this up, one day I'm going to pin you to the floor. Like you had me now. I cut in briefly. Tear off your clothes. I'm only in shorts, a yukata, and a bra. And show you I'm not only an ace on the battlefield. But you'd rather wait to make our first time very erotic. I cut in again. I'll show you it. I hook my fingers into the top of Yang's sports bra and make a firm tug to get her down to me. I place my lips to hers, wrapping my legs around her waist to keep her from escaping as I silence her angry threats. I can feel the heat radiating from her body, and I can hear the sizzling sound of her sweat evaporating from her form. I almost forget that I had opened my yukata. Now with me on my back, it is draped on the floor, leaving me to show off my conservative light purple bra. Normally I would not worry about how I appear in front of Yang, but upon hearing the door to her room open, I go wide-eyed and peek above me to the sight of a jaw-dropped, upside-down RWBY. The team leader stutters, unable to form a proper word. Rubes, I swear, it's not what it seems! Yang gasped, raising an arm out to her sister. Revenge for Yang threatening me with sex. This'll be too easy. It was getting very cold in here. I had to turn on the fan behind me. Yang! Why did you stop? I wrapped my arms around her neck, pulling her tightly against me and whispering to her ear. Never try to threaten me, Yang. I always win. I'll forgive you, though. I give a slight kiss to her cheek and neck, and when I look back towards the doorway, RWBY is long gone. Not cool, Blake. I think you just scarred my sister. Yang sighs, placing her palm against her forehead while I let go of her. I'll explain it to her later. Not a problem. Anyway, she probably came out because someone's here. I heard a car engine roaring earlier, and I felt like someone came into the house. Alright, well let me go see who it is. Yang stands up and makes her way to the door, but before she leaves I whistle to get her attention. Huh? How about a tank top and shorts to go down there in? I roll my eyes at my own girlfriend's indecency. In my own house? Yes. I flash her a firm stare and she sighs, submitting to my will and makes quick work of placing on a golden tank top and black basketball shorts before dashing downstairs. There appears to be a little commotion going on downstairs. I make quick work of doing my yukata, making sure it covers everything it needs to. Oh, it needs to. I begin walking to the door and freeze in the doorway. I feel a breeze on my ears. I look over my shoulders at my ribbon sitting on the floor. Yang, I swear, if I went down without my bow, I would have killed you. I walk back to gather the long strand of ribbon, tying it into a bow over my ears as quick as possible. The moment I am done, I carefully walk to the stairs and make my way down. Since I am barefoot, I have the odd habit of walking on the balls of my feet. As I get to the bottom of the step, I am greeted with the odd sight of Yang, Weiss, and RWBY, all laughing their asses off. I continue my way into the doorway, leaning against the left side of it. Looking to my left, I get a minor surprise to see someone sitting there, shaking his head at the situation. It appears to look younger than he actually is. He appears to look younger than it. Passing off easily at about 30. Though I am concerned he is much older. His hair is jet black and is slightly messy looking. It somewhat reminds me of Professor Osmond's hair, although this man's hair is shorter. He is currently wearing a black leather jacket and black denim jeans. He easily towers over anyone in this room. I can't exactly say what his height is, but I will say with confidence that he is over 6 feet tall. He is also very slim when I gaze at his wrist that appears out of the sleeve of his jacket, exposing part of his actual physique, instead of the bulky mass leather jacket can fake one out to believe. At his side is a dark green backpack that is wide open for some reason, and to add to the odd disposition he is also twirling a skinny 6-inch piece of metal between his fingers, rather subconsciously. A closer look at him and I can see that his eyes are red, making me realize he has some sort of relation to Yang. Are you Yang's father? I ask in a voice softer than my usual tone. He turns his head immediately, appearing to be surprised at my presence. Suppose I should introduce myself. Yang is unable to at the moment. His gaze is firm, meeting my emerald eyes, then darting over to me, appearing to scan my form briefly prior to looking back into my eyes. There is not a smile on his face, nor a look of anger or displeasure. I can't read him at this moment, yet he looks like he can already tell me my life story. No, actually I'm her uncle. And for some reason, I suppose I'm also my best comedy skit tonight. He gestures to the rest of my team as he speaks. A natural smile crosses his lips. But once again he has done it. It disappears once again. There was a grammatical error right there, I guess. I don't know. He appears to be very friendly and social, for now at least. I hope he doesn't take my relationship with Yang badly. At least I hope he doesn't. It will make things a lot easier. Yang and I already agreed that on the slim chance he or our father disapprove, there won't be a single change between us. Well, I guess that means your sense of humor is better than Yang's. That's a good thing. I offer him a slight smile while taking a seat on the arm of the sofa. Well, here goes, Blake. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Blake Belladonna. I'm a student at Beacon, and the 4th member of Team RWBY. I am partners with Yang and I've been going out with her for over a month now. A little blunt, but I guess that's how I'm used to talking. I'm surprised to see his jaw drop at my words. Was it really that shocking for Yang to be going out with a woman? Or I guess even her uncle is aware of Yang's inability to hold a relationship. Regardless, I feel a bit awkward with the absent-minded stare he has given me, and it is time for me to snap him back to reality. So, if I may ask, what is so funny? I say in my normal voice, which snaps him out of his intense stare. He shakes his head a moment and returns a smile I gave him earlier. First off, pleasure to meet you, Blake. Please just call me Crow or Mr. Crow. Or just Mr. One of my jobs is teaching at Signal, so all of those names are familiar to me. I despise being addressed as sir for personal reasons. Sorry about that, he says. Then slouches back on the couch as if a huge burden has been lifted from his shoulders. And apparently I'm asking out Glinda Goodwitch. I have a better chance of not being discriminated if I show my ears than he has asking out Goodwitch. At least I know Guts is a part of the family. Well, I wished you plenty of luck with that. You'll need it. I chuckle, looking down to my teammates who are still able to keep laughing their asses off. Laughing even harder after I made my introduction. When I look back at Crow, he is staring at me intently before looking up in my eyes, most likely in my bow. Tell me, Blake, your team knows everything about you? He asked, sitting himself back up on the sofa and crossing his right leg over his left. Certain parts of my past I wish not to share, but what does that have to do with anything, sir? Mr. Crow. I give him a... Oh, there's supposed to be a question mark right there. I give him an apologetic wave after I slip up and address him with the exact title he requested me not to use. I see. Well, oh shit, sorry. I keep hitting my pop filter. I see. Well, if that's the case, then I don't think you need to hide your fondest heritage from me. He smiles at me, but my eyes shift quickly to Weiss, Yang, and RWBY, who are all looking at Crow with dumbfounded looks on their face. How did you know? I turn my head back at him. Your eyes are very cat-like. You have a different posture. Your nose wiggles a little when you sniff. And... okay, who am I kidding? You only tied your bow over one ear. He gives a shrug of his shoulders. Like I said, there's no need to wear a bow around here anyway. This part of Patch is very anti-discriminatory, as is this family. though. Word of advice. Take a trip into the town with Yang sometime. It would help stop the several exes of hers from attempting to get back with her. Will also make my life easier since they walk up to me most of the time Annoying bastards. Two crows with one stone, so to speak, I ask, grinning at my little play on words. No, two mice with one cat, he counters, returning to grin towards me. Well, he is nice enough. I guess I was a little too worried. One down, only one to go. And that was chapter 43. Holy shit, I kept fumbling. Oh my god. That was so terrible. Anyways, that was actually pretty nice. Like that was a good chapter. There was actually a grammatical error that I actually stumbled on. If there was one that I did not know of, then well, good thing I didn't fumble over it, or it probably sounded wrong to you guys. So anyways, here's chapter 44, Trading Tailgates and Trouble. This is in Yang's POV. Alright, thanks for helping with the groceries. Thanks for help with the groceries, Weiss. You know where Ruby is? I wish I did. I need to give that doll a piece of my mind. I smiled to myself with a response. I placed Ruby's strawberries in the fridge for now. Meh, she'll come find them when she gets hungry. Alright, since my sister's MIA, you're going to help me with some focus mid training. I grinned, grabbing the unwilling ice queen by the arm and bringing her out to the back patio. You brute, let me go! And what are focus mitts anyway? Oh my god, these voice cracks. She asks after I pull her aside. Oh my god, I actually got scared that it was still paused because my cursor was still over it. Out of sheer shock, I let her go, my jaw dropping at how she doesn't know what one of the most basic boxing training tools are. You don't know what focus mitts are? Are you kidding me? Definitely glad I dragged you out now. I shake my head. I'm glad you acknowledge that you did in fact drag me out here. She rolls her eyes at me. Hey, you and I haven't trained in a while. Might as well do something as light as this, I dispute, walking over towards one of the glass tables on the corner of the back patio, and my focus mitt sitting right on top of from my quick session early in the morning with Blake. As I walk back to her, I place them on my hands while I begin to explain. All you do is wear them like this while I punch. All you need to do is either turn your hands sideways or face your palm to the floor. Depending on how it is positioned, I will either throw a hook or an uppercut. Then on occasion you will swing a mitt at me and I will need to dodge it without moving away. It's pretty simple training. I take off the mitts and hand them to Weiss, who carefully places them on. They are gold mitts with a single black stripe along the side, and in the middle are two black rings and a black center in the circle in the center, making a target sign in the center of each mitt. I reach out to help tighten the Velcro straps around the back of her hands to ensure each mitt is secure. Weiss looks at me pretty hesitantly. I guess she expects me to throw a wild punch at her face or something. I usually would, but she just got here. Not sure it would be smart to knock out my sister's girlfriend on her first dating patch. Just relax, Weiss. I'll keep my power punching away for now. Just hold up your hands and let me show you that it doesn't hurt. I lift myself off my heels, making baby hops on the balls of my feet, and bring my hands up in a defensive boxing posture, hiding my cheeks behind my fists while I wait for Weiss to lift her hands. I'm not as weak as I used to be, Yang. You don't need to baby me. But thank you. Weiss looks down after her last words. If I could say one thing, Weiss and I will ever have the same personality-wise, it's our pride, although hers does vary from mine slightly. She moves her left leg back, putting herself in a more stable position while she lifts the mitts up to chest level with herself. She is shorter than me, so I am forced to lower myself a bit, but I guess it lets me work on my super close range fighting. I lower myself by slightly hunching over and bringing my arms tighter to my sides. My eyes focus on the gloves, and I can see a slight look of concern on Weiss's face. She's never been my training partner, so I guess she's never used focus mitts with me. So she is not used to the intense stare I go into when I am about to begin. I'm sure she'll realize it after I start. She'll only continue to be scared until she gets used to it. Alright, Weiss, let's hope those skinny wrists of yours aren't that fragile. I begin with two quick left jabs to her left mitt, releasing sharp, short exhales that have a hybrid sound between a hiss and a tisk. She hands the two jabs well, her hand barely moving back, and she makes quick work of setting it back into place. That's it, Ice Queen. I change it up slightly now. throwing a left punch to her left mitt, then a right punch to the other. I begin alternating my rhythm, going for the basic left right combo to a left right combo, and sticking to basic strikes, since she is not turning the mitts just yet. Alright, don't forget to turn your hands a bit. Maybe change my punches up, and don't be afraid to swing at me. Those mitts are padded, I won't feel a thing. I exit my stance for a moment while I speak, giving her a chance to lower her hands and rest a moment. Yang, I think I may be better to you without the mitts on. And maybe better helps you without the mitts on, while he says while giving me a focused stare. What do you mean? I don't want to break your hands. I place my hands on my hips, not sure how many screws that apparent 1,000 meter free fall of hers may have knocked loose. You won't. Now help me get these things off. My hands are starting to sweat. She holds out her hands to me, and after giving her another unsure glare, I unstrap the Velcro and pull the mitts off of her hands. The moment I do so, she holds her hands up immediately, this time about head level to herself. It is the perfect height for my usual striking, but I'm not so sure about this. Weiss, I seriously don't want to break your hands, or sprain your wrists. Why am I so hesitant? You're not going to, you brute. Now stop being such a wuss and punch already. Weiss snaps at me, holding her hands up with complete confidence. Wuss? The last thing I am is a wuss, Ice Queen. I sharpen my stare at her left hand. I throw my first punch, softer than most, and I am amazed when I feel my hand make contact, but Weiss's hand doesn't move from their spot. Come on, Yang, both hands. Show me those fancy combos of yours. Weiss smiles at me. I must admit, I'm surprised she was encouraging me to go faster. Alright, Ice Queen, be ready. I get a small grin, throwing a quick 2 combo. One to her left hand, the other to her right. Both punches definitely land, but again her hands don't move in the slightest. What the hell? Since when does she have any other upper body strength? Come on, Yang. This is hardly even a warm-up for you. Punch! I am punching you, annoying snowflake! I shout in my... what's this? I shot my head, throwing a firm right hand. My eyes widen as I see the punch being delivered. I actually put my aura into this one, and it is already centimeters from Weiss's hand. There is no pulling it back. I close my eyes, expecting to hear a shout of pain, but instead I hear an odd noise resonate in my head for a split second. And my hand has a cold feeling along the knuckles. I open my eyes to see sitting in Weiss's palm. Weiss has a smile on her face. There's the Yang I know. Throw an aura just like that one. She nods her head at me, letting my hand go. How the hell did she catch that? Alright, these will all have a bit of aura on them. Be ready, I warn. I take a deep breath, both of my hands getting a golden outline. I clench my fist tighter than before and go back to my rapid flurry of punches, alternating between which hand I target in a swift combination of punches. My eyes widen when Weiss begins to move her hands around, tilting them as I suggest. But when she does it, it is very unpredictable, and I barely get a look at her palms when she does. It soon becomes a game of me slowly adding more aura to each punch, wanting to find out how she is doing this, but also wanting to know that I haven't gotten any weaker. My punches are always firm and on the money. There is not a single person who should be able to block them with such little effort, especially Weiss of all people. Yang, this is hardly training if you don't start actually trying. Just move off of the patio to give you some more room. Weiss puts her hands down and starts walking down the steps and onto the grass. She walks halfway towards the forest that is about 100 meters from her house, giving us a large radius to work with, also meaning I don't have much of a reason to not throw any more serious punches. Weiss, how are you taking these? That's not possible, especially for you, no offense. You're not trying hard enough, that's why, she says in her coldest tone that is only matched by her stare. If she's trying to make me angry, it's working. And when she places her hands up this time, I plan on showing her that I am not made to be fun of. You handle a few jabs and suddenly you're all that. I have a punch that will knock that pretty little smirk off of your face right now. I raise my hands up, bringing my right leg slightly further back than usual. I clench my right hand slowly, one finger at a time. First my pinky, then my ring finger, followed by my middle and index. I see the air around me enter a slight haze from the heat my body's radiating, but the entire time Weiss is just smirking at me. Get that smile off your face, damn it! I begin to get angry, and her crystal blue eyes I can make out a slight touch of red. My eyes have finally changed color, and I need to blow off some steam with this one punch. I waste no time in swinging my arm. I make sure it is my perfected right cross, twist my hips and add additional momentum to it, and when I slam my right heel into the grass at the moment of impact. I keep a firm stare as my fist goes for Weiss's right hand, my eyes widen at the sight. I never noticed it before, but with a more powerful punch, it is forced to linger longer. And with my right cross, I am finally able to see how Weiss has been able to shrug off each punch. I haven't seen her do it since our fight, but she's been able to make glyphs right in front of her palms, and more impressively, above both palms unlike before. I stare as the momentum and my punch goes away, along with the aura. At the same instant, her glyph disappears, and my punch lands harmlessly in her palm yet again. So this is how. Trying to kill me, Yang? Sheesh, a right cross of all things. Weiss scolds me, thinking I didn't see her glyph, but the unamused stare I give her tells this whole story, and she sighs upon realizing I saw it. How long have you been able to do that? I ask, putting my hands down to show I am done for now. Weiss smiles softly, holding her palm up and forming a small glyph on it. After a moment, it slowly expands, doubling in size, which soon shatters like a mirror, and the pieces disappear soon after. About a week. I tried it out once when I was training with RWBY. It worked, but I didn't want her seeing it. She made it clear she was scared of it when I did it during our spar. So I started practicing with Ren, who would do small aura pulses into my glyph to test how much I can handle. As long as the attack is small and pinpointed, I could pretty much block it. Anything larger than my opponent, I have a bit of trouble with it. But I think I am making progress. Weiss smiles, looking down both of her hands. I want to be as strong as I was when we fought, and I will be. I just don't know when. Weiss turns her head to me, giving me a soft smile. Yes, you will, Weiss. I wish you would have just told me. I ended up using more other than I wanted, and I still need to go. To go do my jogging and push-ups. I sigh, starting to walk back to the house. Well, think of it as more of a challenge, I guess. Weiss says while she walks with me. I'm a tad surprised to see her looking at things a bit more optimistically. That usually isn't something she is known for. Guess RWBY has really been rubbing off on her. How about that? Yeah, I guess I need a little more of a challenge. I'm gonna go get charged. Try not to yell at my sis too much, alright? I get a nod from Weiss that satisfies me enough. I open the back door of the house that leads into the kitchen and make my way straight upstairs to my room. I'm surprised to see Blake curled up in my bed when I walk in. Her back is towards the door, and it looks like she's adapted a more cat-like sleeping position with the way she is curled up, although her head is nice and comfortable on my pillow. I can't believe her. First she asks where my room is, then decides she'd rather sleep in the attic for some reason, and now she is back in my room. Plus side to it all, I have a kitty in my bed. I smile to myself and nod, taking a moment to walk over and lean over my bed to look at Yang's adorable sleeping face. I wish I didn't have to take my jog. Well, I don't actually. I need to take it. I'll get far too restless if I don't. I let out a quiet sigh, taking the chance to lean down and plant a kiss on Blake's cheek. It's a tough fight to leave my sleeping beauty, but I know just what will get me motivated. Alright, Yang, if you can run your usual 30 miles in only 3 hours, then you could take off Blake's pillow if she's still sleeping. Yep, that's my reward. I grin, carefully moving away from the bed and dashing over to my dresser. I open a very bottom drawer, pulling out my black sports bra from the right side of the drawer. I make quick work of stripping my tops and place it on instead. These things are always a pain in the ass to get on for, well, D-related reasons, but once they are on, the hard part is over. I smile, humming to myself while I take off my current shorts, exposing the black boy shorts I am wearing underneath, and add a pair of white jogging shorts to go over. Alright, Yang, out we go. I search for my scroll in one of the pockets of my discarded clothing, as well as grab my headphones from on top of my dresser. I have been getting bored during my workouts, so with the free scroll that Beacon gave me, I made a point to add an anti-boredom plan onto my scroll. I call it the Yang Xiaolong Entertainment Center. A shitload of music. I place my headphones over my ear while I leave my room, being very careful to close the door behind me and dash down the steps. As I make my way to the door, I peek into the living room a moment to see RWBY and Weiss sharing the couch. RWBY has her head on Weiss's lap while Weiss absent-mindedly plays with Ruby's white tips. Okay, I'll admit, they're cute together. I shake my head with a grin on my face. Deciding to ruin the moment briefly, I lean through the doorway and in my softest whisper, I startle the two of them so easily. Going out for a jog, you two. If I found out Blake woke up because you two made too much noise, I'll break your hands, Weiss. Then I'll eat all of Ruby's cookies in front of her, okay? Needless to say, the two of them quickly agrees. The last thing I want is my reward being taken away because someone had to wake my girlfriend up. I'm glad we reached this agreement. Then, don't do anything rated M, you two. I hum to myself and walk outside. I stand in the middle of the street, lowering into a crouch first to begin playing my music. I find one of my most blood-pumping tracks and set it on repeat, then place my scroll into my pocket. Fortunately, my shorts have a zipper over the pocket, so I'm able to take extra precaution to make sure my scroll doesn't fall out. Do it for Blake Yang. Those ears will be mine. I begin at a gentle jog while the music begins to fill my ears, starting off with building instrumentals. It's not until an hour into my run that I hear one of the songs I've been waiting for. The song that echoes all of Beacon remember the name Yang Xiaolong. This is like something you would hear at the esports sort of shit. Except that for my motto it would be 100% luck, 0% skill. Oh man. CSGO everybody. You know what? I'm not even gonna bother with reciting these lyrics. I'm sorry, I just won't do it. It's at this moment that I take something out of Ruby's playbook. Something not a lot of people notice when she uses her semblance, or at least when she uses her semblance at its best. I slam my right foot into the ground and lean forward, forcing all my weight on my one leg for the split second. With a sharp burst of my aura through that foot, I take an explosive step that sends me to my full speed, and from then on, I make it a point to never slow down. My running leads me to town, the same town I was just picking up groceries in. Although it's not uncommon for me to take multiple trips here in one day. I dash down the street, moving more towards the curb to avoid any cars that may be coming by, although there are a very few times a car passes through. As another one of my songs make a slow fade to transition to the next, I hear a voice call my name. A very close voice, actually. Where's the fire, Yang? I look to my right at the sidewalk, surprised to see one of my oldest friends, and also one of the people I have had a momentary deeper sort of relation with. She has hair the same length as Ruby's, except it has more of a gothic style to it. On top of being an autumn orange. Her right eye is always covered by her hair, leaving her left eye to do all the seeing for her. The other part of her eye is a Halloween orange, and as it gets closer to her pupil, it fades slightly to a more yellowish color. But her pupils are pitch black. When I look into her eye, I can see a stare similar to Blake's, although this look is more predatory and a bit more menacing with how narrow her pupils are. She's wearing an orange tank top with black shorts that have orange lining. She has tanner complexion compared to myself. She's bordering becoming a shade of caramel, though it's still a tattoo pale. Whoops. I have to repeat that. She's bordering becoming a shade of caramel, though it's still a tattoo pale to be considered as such. She has a relatively small nose, and the grin she is known for flaunts her sharp teeth to their fullest. On top of her head are two cat-like ears that match her hair color, but are also decorated with black spots. She's one of my best friends, former lover, longtime rival, and the fastest girl in Patch. She is the cheat of funnest, Shun Itomi. Oh god, Itomi. This is a general live. Fucking ill. Gross. The rough translation of her first name is Swift. I forgot what the translation of her last name is, but I recall it has something to do with beautiful eyes, and I will admit, her eyes have always been one of her best features. I keep my running pace but move my headphones off of my right ear to hear her better as the next song starts. Doing my running? I need to work on my endurance, I say while I keep at a full sprint, although Sean keeps pace with me at what appears to be a steady jog for her. Cool. Need a running partner? We'll just be like old times. I look at her out the corner of my eye. Her stare is focused on me, analyzing my entire form. And it has always been like this when I am near her. And I guess that now since I'm with Blake, I feel an awkwardness when Sean looks at me. It's an odd feeling. Like, I'm insecure when she looks at me. I don't like this feeling, yet I can't say exactly what it is. Hito, can you tone that down a bit? I ask between breaths. I'm still not panting yet, and that's a really good sign so far. Stop what? She asked, her pupils widening a bit to something a bit less predatory and menacing. Staring at me. It's getting me uneasy. I turn my head forward, placing my headphone over my ear and spinning up once again, focusing my breathing while I continue through town. I begin losing myself into my music once again, and the next song I hear that pushes me into the next gear is a unique mashup of 4 songs into a more techno remix. The instrumentals itself are very unique, forcing in my ears as if I'm really in a club. The soft trance-like rhythm is replaced by a xylophone-like tune until the first song sets in. Oh, that's the I Burn remix. Still not going with it. My throat's starting to get dry. When I start singing. I mean, I have to literally endure all this, so it's gonna be terrible because I have no more water now. A smile crosses my lips. I made this track after hearing a song Blake fell in love with. A song she felt describe the struggles she has gone through as a faunus. I personally don't see the super deep poetry hidden in sight, but I like the song itself. But I need more to it. Something to slowly amp up towards it. So what did I do? Well, I took an old melody RWBY likes to listen to. Technofied it. They got a recording of Weiss singing. Had to admit, the ice queen has a great voice. Spread it up a bit. Alter the background sound. Add some instruments and bang! And now I have my favorite kick-ass track. Okay, maybe I didn't do all that. I asked John for help. Wimpy guy's great on the computer, I'll give him that. I kinda wish I made him the DJ for the dance, but I didn't know he could do stuff like that until afterwards when he was bored in class. And started messing around with his scroll. Yep, I was nosy and bored, so I peeked and became impressed as hell. So thank you, John Garg, for my awesome music. I flex my fingers and sing to the metronome in the background. It brings a smile to my lips. I should show this to Weiss. She may kill me for having her voice recorded and adjusted, but it's her fault for singing on the dorm roof. If you don't want to be recorded, then you sing in the shower. Duh! Still cute as ever, Yang. I feel my headphone move over from my ear, and I turn my head once again to see Sean staring at me with that predatory gaze of hers. I'll join you. I need a warm-up, and you already have me steaming. I can hear the purring erupting from deep within her chest. It's a borderline growl knife, but I've known Sean long enough to be able to tell the difference. Guess I haven't told you. I'm taking Hito. I face forward again to continue running. In my left ear, I began hearing the start of Blake's song, and immediately I can picture her smile in my head. And in turn, I get the second surge I need, the reminder of the reward I promised myself. Her ears are mine. I lean my upper body forward once more, taking another aura-bursting step to enter an all-out sprint. It's been roughly 2.5 hours since I started. Why would you word it out? No, why would you put numbers? You're supposed to word it out. Fucking whatever. Sometimes people tend to do that in their own stories, so I can't blame you. So now it is the start, and now is the time I should be picking up the bass. I start off slow to warm up, and now is when I will make up for lost time. Just you having a man in your life is supposed to make me stop? Hito, I dumped you. Deal with it. I refrain from making a comment and instead continue running. I am just passing by my halfway point, a three-way intersection with nothing left in front of me but a wall. Hope I can still do this. I smile, dashing across the street towards the brick wall. Out of the corner of my eye, I can see Shun slow down, having no clue what I am doing, running right towards the dead end. Yeah, you're going to break that pretty face of yours, she shouts at me with a mild concern in her voice. Idiot, I'm too thick-headed for that. Or so I'm told. I jump just short of the wall, turning my body perpendicular to the wall and parallel to the floor. I squat while I rotate myself in midair. A smile crosses my lips when my feet press flatly to the wall. All you can see now is an upside-down view of the street I just ran down, and the completely shocked look of the cheetah fauna standing aside in awe at a new trick I learned for a quick change in momentum. Although I admit it isn't my own idea, I got the idea when I saw some professional swimmers doing it when tagging up on a wall. Then again, doing stupid things I see from sports is part of who I am. I have a way of yangifying anything I see. As my momentum brings me to a squat against the wall, I push off with all my strength as well as turtle myself to spin so I'm no longer upside down. My downward fall reminds me of my first trial in Beacon, and when I'm close enough to the floor, I extend my palms to the ground to make me roll to my feet. Completing a repeat of my landing strategy, nostalgia with a loud, nailed it! I'm coming home, Blake. I continue running at full speed, looking over my shoulder to see that the Shung is still staring in complete shock. You didn't hear me say that. I turn forward and direct my eyes far down the road towards the seeable yet distant edge of the town that will change into a suburban scenery. Blake's section of the song is coming to an end, and it is replaced by a portion of the song I consider to be my theme song, which is obviously I Burn, but I'm not going to sing that still. I begin to sing my favorite song, getting me far too pumped up to just remain quiet while I jog, although my eyes widen when I hear the familiar purring voice in my ear. Still to that Lamar Hall crap I see. So what's the lucky guy's name? I turn to where I heard the voice, but she isn't at my right side. I turn to look ahead of me, and there is Shun, showing off even further by matching my full sprint by only running backwards. It's a girl, I shout, moving to the other side of the street while I run to avoid being distracted by Shun's questioning. Oh, so I'm losing you to a gal? find her on the streets of Vale or something. She's right back at my side, jogging effortlessly to match me. I turn my head to look at her, seeing her gazing over my body once again, but this time I flare my aura. The pure brightness make her pupils shrink even further, and force her to break sight. I'm not yours to gawk at, and I met her at Beacon. Now leave me alone, I snap. When she looks at me again, I can see the reflection of my red eyes in her gaze. She pissed me off, and it's about time she realized it. I see. Tell them not to get too comfortable with you. I had my eyes on you since our days in Signal. And there it is, that freaky, flaunting grin of hers as she slows down and leads me to the rest of my run. We're through, Hito. Deal with it. I slow to a jog the rest of the way, making it back to the house with only 10 minutes left to my deadline. My aura has been raging inside me, burning the sweat from my body before I can even begin to trickle. I open the door as gently as I can, realizing that with my head in such a tear, I could very well yank it off the hinges by mistake. I close the door behind me and peek into the living room. There's some cheesy romance movie going on. On the couch is Ruby, sitting comfortably, being very attentive, and looking lower, I can see Weiss with a head on Ruby's lap, equally as attentive to the movie. Both their hands are interlaced with each other's, and it seems their grip only tightens as the movie goes on. Ice Queen, you keep this up, and I may start thinking you have a real heart. I smile, deciding to leave my sis and her girlfriend alone, and instead I head upstairs to my room where Blake is still sleeping soundly in the same position as earlier. I did it, Blake, I whisper in my head, as if somehow she can hear me. It was already dark outside when I came in, but I still feel like I need to burn energy. I'm riled up. That grin, that fang flaunting grin was far too certain of victory for my taste. Just what was Shun had told me up to. I shake the thoughts of a jealous cheetah faunus from my head while I kick off my running shoes and lay down on my bed next to Blake. I told myself I would take my own reward for Blake. It's a simple guilty pleasure I have. I just want to look at her adorable ears. I carefully reach out with both hands, grasping each end of her bone, slowly pulling until the knot gives in and the ribbon appears to fall apart from her furry attribute. That's my pretty kitty. I smile, tossing the ribbon over my shoulder to land on the floor somewhere. I inch myself closer to you. To you? What? To you? This is gross! Pressing my chest to her back and placing an arm around her. Blake, I'm never leaving you. I don't know what Hito is planning, but I know you won't fall for it. I worked too hard to finally get to you. I lean and press my lips to her cheek, inhaling the familiar fragrance in her hair from the shampoo she uses. I carefully hook my arm over her abdomen while I slide myself as close to her as possible, trying not to wake her, even though deep down I want her to. I wanted to wake up and scold me for bothering her. I wanted to roll her eyes or scream at me for being an annoyance. I feel so uneasy and worried, but I can't tell her about Shun. How will she react? She'll see that Shun's a faunus and go back to thinking I only wanted her because of her cat ears. That I saw Shun's image when I first met her and all I wanted was to rekindle an old flame. I don't want Blake to think that for a second. Blake was so mysterious and had a hostility to her that drew me in even closer. I was eager to see what the mysterious bow-wearing girl was hiding underneath the tough exterior. Blake is Blake. Shun is Shun. Shun and I are done. Blake and I are just beginning. And that is how it was meant to be. I give Blake's cheek one more kiss, then add another kiss to the tip of one of her ears, smiling as it flutters from the tiniest touch to it. You're just so adorable. I decided to lay with her for a bit longer. A few seconds turned into a minute. That single minute turning into 10 minutes. Then an hour. I fight myself to eventually pull away from her. Let her sleep, Yang, I whispered to myself. I placed my headphones back over my ears, then take my scroll out of my pocket and put it on the bed behind Blake. My music has been playing the entire time, but I must have tuned it out. This time my favorite song is entering my ear, and I begin to feel my body starting to twitch with the need to exert whatever energy is left. This is a song for you, Yang. Push-ups. Push-ups. I had to say it like that, so that's funny. I take a few steps from Blake and drop down to my knees. I lean forward to plant my hands on the ground and then lift my knees off of the floor. I make sure I adapt to perfect posture, lyrics echoing in my head with each motion. It's the same lyrics that were playing for the mashup I asked John to put together, but now the second verse is kicking in. My favorite part of the entire song. I already sang this, so I'm not even gonna bother. Ugh. God, my voice is starting to crack a lot. Oh, my back. Ugh. Right now, this entire verse reflects my feelings towards Shun. I want to burn her, scorch her, and make her know that I will never turn on Blake. I'll put her into the hospital if she even comes near Blake. There's not a thing that I won't do to protect my kitty, even if it means I snap out of my darker state of mind. There's a weight on my back and a sweet fragrance nearby. I turn my head to look over my right shoulder, but my hair is in my way. I don't need to wait long before gentle fingers brush along my skin and move my hair from my face. I'm happy to be greeted by Blake's relaxed grin. She's as emotionless as ever in appearance, but I'm happy to see that slight gleam of her eye in her eye. Hey, kitty cat, I say to her, a smile uncontrollably taking charge of my lips, although there is an unamused look in her eye. Guess she's mad about the missing bow, if she's noticed yet. I'm sure she did. Did it say stop your workout? Keep going. How many have you done so far, she asks. At the same moment, I face the floor to be prepared to lower. I drop myself slightly, waiting for Blake's instinct to get a better grip on me to take hold. Almost instantly, I can feel her arms tighten around my abdomen, and I take that as a sign to continue my motion. It is not until I do 5 push-ups that she breaks the silence and offers me a challenge that I cannot refuse. If you could do 50 of these, I'll keep my bow off for the night. My cheeks begin to redden. Her breath is brushing over my ear, and she's speaking in the hushed whispers that draw shivers to my spine. Speaking of which, do you know how it came off of my ears? Fuck, she noticed. Guess I'll find out how pissed she is soon enough. I have no idea, kitty cat. I lie. But I guess it's not going on until tomorrow. 50 is not a problem for me. I'll do as many as you need to, and then some. I'm never losing you, Blake Belladonna. God damn, I did pretty bad in that. Ah, shit. We're only like an hour in, and we only done 2 chapters. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Anyways, here is chapter 45. Parental approval. This is in RWBY's POV. Ah, great. Hold on. Gotta get into my Uncle Crow voice, or as best as I can for it. Hairball. Sorry about that. Tell me, Blake. Your team knows everything about you? I stop laughing, looking on at Uncle Crow as he speaks of Blake. My uncle isn't a person to ask a question without it leading somewhere, and I doubt that streak will change now. Certain parts of my past I wish not to share. What does that have to do with to do of anything, sir? I mean, Mr. Crow. I watch as Blake winces from calling my uncle the one child he despises most, but she doesn't know that Uncle Crow has a really long fuse. I see. Well, if that's the case, then don't mind you needing to hide your fondest heritage from me. My jaw drops as Uncle Crow's words. Yang and Weiss quickly turn their heads towards Blake. Yawning. Unable to understand how he was able to find out so quickly. And Blake wastes no time in asking the question all of us are thinking. How did you know? Her tone is harsh and her eyes are fixed on him. But as usual, he is unfazed by the tension in the air, and goes on to explain very simplistically. Your eyes are very cat-like. You have a different posture. Your nose wiggles a little when you sniff and... Okay, who am I kidding? You only tied your bow over one ear. At his words, the 3 of us all look at Blake's ears. From the way she is standing, we can only see her right side, so with a little movement, we are able to get a small view of her other ear, and are surprised to see that Blake would actually forget to tie her bow over both ears. Like I said, Uncle Crow continues, there's no need to wear a bow around here anyway. This part of Patch is very anti-discriminatory, as is this family. Though, a word of advice. Take a trip to town with Yang sometime. It will help stop the several exes of hers from attempting to get back with her. I can see Yang lower her head out in the corner of my eye. It's very unlike Yang to lower her head when her exes are mentioned. As a matter of fact, it usually has the complete opposite effect. Yang usually boasts about how many exes she has, and doesn't waste a moment to correct someone should they underestimate the amount of hearts she's broken. I mean, there was that one time over the summer after her junior year at Signal. She was depressed over most of the summer vacation for some reason. She didn't want to leave the house or anything, and a friend of hers who had just graduated from Signal came by multiple times to check on her, but Yang didn't want to see her. No matter how many times did she stop by. I can't remember her name, but she was a really tall cheetah faunus. Taller than Yang even. I never went into a conversation with Yang on it. To be quite honest, she was not the most approachable big sis that summer. That was the first time I felt like I couldn't talk to Yang about something. Ruby? I hear Weiss whisper to me. I shake my head hard, looking at my girlfriend who is sitting on the floor next to me, staring at me with a look of concern on her face. Sorry about that. What? I look around, seeing that Uncle Crow, Blake, and Yang are all gone. Where'd everyone go? I ask, and Weiss begins to laugh at me. Wow, you spaced out pretty hard. Mr. Crow went upstairs to sleep, as did Yang and Blake. On that note, where am I sleeping? I hear Blake has the attic room, and since your uncle is here, he no doubt has taken whatever other room is available. Weiss questions, while also pretty much checking off all the options in my mind with her explanation. I didn't think of that. I mean, she could always... No, she'll dismiss that right away. Actually, maybe if I say... Nope. Weiss is stubborn. Oh well, I slept well the past 2 days. I can sacrifice a night. Well, you can sleep in my bed, Weiss. I have a spare I can use. If you can even call it a spare. That seems to be the best option as of now. Thank you, Ruby. I feel my cheeks redden when Weiss leans over and plants a kiss to my head cheek, leaving me with a small case of the giggles. You think I'd be used to at least this, but honestly, I'm usually the one to steal the kiss. So for her to give me one without me asking is pretty rare, and it makes me love them even more. Not a problem. Now let's get upstairs. Someone knocked on the front door a few hours back and left bags there that had your name on it. I put them in my room since I didn't know where they should go. I say while I stand up and help Weiss to her feet as usual. I see. That was probably Sebastian. I believe he was on the airship. If there was anything I need, he's the one I call. Under mention of Sebastian, I see a smile across her lips. Whoever he is able to make Weiss smile effortlessly. I'm not so sure I like that. Oh, so who is Sebastian? Old friend? I ask while I begin walking towards the stairs with Weiss following. For formality's sake, he is an employee under my father, assigned as my butler. Although he goes far and beyond to do anything I need should I ask. He's more of a dear friend than a butler, and I should do my best to avoid overusing his services. Weiss explains to me while we climb to the top of the steps and make our way down the hall to my room. I open the door, but I don't hear Weiss's entering behind me. I turn around and see her standing in the doorway, looking at the word at the top of my door. Summer's little rose. Ruby, aren't you more of an autumn lover? Weiss asks, raising an eyebrow at me. Weiss? Why did you have to notice that? Well, you see, it's not really referring to the reason. I try to find a way to explain without bringing tears to my eyes. Too late. I look at Weiss, her body becoming disfigured and blurry. I know she didn't know this would happen, but I get emotional every time I think about it. I look down and take a chopped inhale after closing my eyes in an attempt to break my vision of Weiss. If there's too emotional of a meaning behind it, just shake your head next time, dolts. I have my share of sensitive topics as well. Did you forget the type of family I have? Weiss's voice is close. I can guess she is right in front of me now, and that assumption is proven true when I feel one arm wrapped around the back of my head, and the other around my upper back. You don't need to explain everything to me. Some things will come out in due time. Weiss, I want to tell you. I have no problems telling you. It's just my mind doesn't want to let me forget. I wrap my arms tightly around Weiss, pressing my head against her chest. I find a soothing retreat in her heartbeat, absorbing the light pounding as a soothing melody. It's such a beautiful sound, and I just wish I could hear it louder. I move my head a bit, trying to get my ear in a better position, but Weiss assumes my actions to be a little more perverse. Don't use the moment to get yourself some free feels, you sneaky dunce. The clear annoyance in her voice is noted, but she doesn't push me away, which I am grateful for. Sorry, I whisper, with my cheek pressed to her left breast. Her arm unwraps from my head, and instead I feel her cold fingers trailing along my cheek after finding away my hair. I climb up to the attic room to say goodnight to my girlfriend, and you two are already getting romantic in my sister's room. I hear Yang teasing, but Weiss as usual does not realize my sister is joking around and makes an attempt to clear things up. It's not like that, Yang. It seems I made a mistake and asked about the text on Ruby's door. Weiss shifts a bit while she speaks, exposing my tear-stricken face to my sister. It was a mistake, Yang, and I appreciate it if you refrain from punching me until after I wake up. I rub my eyes, getting the tears away so I can look at my sister who is staring at Weiss with an unamused look. Sheesh, Ice Queen. I'm not that bad. Yang shrugs her shoulders. Anyway, are you two sharing a bed or something? If so, Big Sis disapproves immediately. Yang leans against the doorway, folding her arms while I gently pull myself from Weiss, holding her to stand upright. No, sis, I raise my arm to point to my closet with a blank look on my face. Yang gives me a sharp stare and shakes her head with a loud huff. Really? I swear, Rubes. Weiss, what did she tell you? Yang turns her eyes to my girlfriend, and I immediately lower my head, preparing for the scolding I will get when they finish clearing things up. She said I could sleep in her bed because there is a spare she could use. I assumed she meant that there was another mattress or something that she has used to sleep in before, but I doubt a mattress could fit in her closet. I could feel Weiss's cold stare piercing at me at her last words. Nope. The only thing she has that will qualify as a spare bed is a sleeping bag that she keeps in there. Why'd you need to say it like that, Yang? What? Weiss shouts in surprise, and at the same time I can hear Yang's footsteps come closer and the squeaking sound of my door closing behind her until it shuts completely. If you think for 1 second I'm going to sleep on a comfortable mattress while you sleep on the floor, then you are sadly mistaken. The couch downstairs is more than large enough for me. All I need is a... No! I shout, lifting my head to look at Weiss. This is your first time in my house. I want you to at least sleep in a bed. Even Yang wanted the same thing for Blake and slept on the couch 2 nights ago until we moved one of Yang's mattresses from our bed up to the attic. I flashed a gaze over to Yang, who immediately looked down, and following that I look away. I just want my girlfriend to sleep comfortably until we get a chance to compromise. I hear twin huffs coming from the two of them. A heavy hand lands on my shoulder, and a cold, gentle touch my right. Fine, Rubes. Ice Queen can sleep in your room, Yang whispers. However, I will be taking the sleeping bag. You have proven you are a good hostess with that selfless attempt of yours, but I will not let my team leader friend and girlfriend be treated secondhand in her own home, Weiss whispers in continuation with Yang. I suppose this is as close as it will get. It's far better than Weiss sleeping on the couch. The 2 people I know who can sleep comfortably on their couch are Yang and Uncle Crow. Okay, but if I wake up early, I want Weiss to move to my bed. No questions, answered the 2 of them. That doesn't mean waking up at 3 a.m., Rubes, Yang quickly counters me. Nor does it mean sneaking me onto your bed when you simply wake for a mere bathroom break, Weiss also counters. Ugh, why must they know me so well? Fine, I pout. I look over towards my bed and make a quick hop towards it. I use my summons to send me directly above my mattress, twisting my body so I land flat on my bed with my face buried into my pillow. She is such a pest, I say to Yang. Also, could you find a sleeping bag for me? I still need to change into my nightgown. Go on, I got it, Yang answers. I heard the sound of a zipper opening up near me. I placed Weiss's suitcase near the foot of my bed since I did not know where else they could go. When I hear the suitcase being closed and Weiss's footsteps growing fainter, I lift my head up and shout just loud enough for her to hear. Door on the right after the staircase, just past Yang's room. Thanks, Weiss answers as she continues walking. I continue to listen, waiting to hear the distinct sound of the bathroom door shutting. Compared to the rest of the doors in the house, for some reason, the bathroom door has a more hollow echo to it. So I always know when someone is going in or out of the bathroom based on that. Alright, Rubes. Why the hardcore pouts? I lift my head again to look at Yang, who is unrolling a 6-foot sleeping bag on my bedside. It's a crimson sleeping bag and it is a bit loose around me, even when I zip it up. Now that I think about it, the bed would be perfect for Weiss. She sleeps with a very light blanket to avoid using anything heavier since she tends to like the colder breeze. Even the outfits she wears are pretty light and nearly paper thin. She even has this very pretty bolero jacket that she could put over her usual dress, but it is very light as well. I just want Weiss to like the house, Yang, so she'd want to come by again, you know? Sis, she isn't coming here for the house. She's coming here for you. I'm sure Ice Queen has some fancy-ass property somewhere in Vale that she could have gone to spend her vacation in, or even invite the rest of us to spend a vacation over there with her. But she came here, and you know why? Yang smiles, looking up at me with her lilac eyes. Why, I ask, biting on her question. Because that that fancy ice house of hers doesn't have Ruby Rose. Yang states proudly, causing a smile to cross my lips. Thanks, sis. I reach out, bringing my upper body off of her bed and hugging Yang, relying on her not to let me fall. Psh, thanking me for what? I'm just a beautiful, attractive, jaw-dropping interpreter. Yang gloats and stands up, carrying my hanging upper half back over to the bed before prying my arms off of her and letting me drop. And modest. Extremely modest. I didn't even go into how much of a sexy piece of Yang. Fine. I'm still the most wanted girl in Patch and Beacon. For multiple counts of assault, I state bluntly. What? Me? Assault someone? I would never. Yang does her best to act shocked and surprised, even adding a fake gasp to it all that makes me shake my head. Good night, Yang. I shake my head, giggling at her terrible acting while she walks out of the room and waves. Nice, sis. I better not hear either you two Yang! Alright. Sleep tight, she says while closing the door. Sheesh, Weiss and I wouldn't do that. It was that one time, and you helped provoke it, dummy. I take a moment to climb off my bed to pull my blanket out from underneath, before hopping back in and covering myself. Weiss is taking a bit longer than I expected, but she is probably going to sleep the moment she comes in, so I might as well not get my hopes of having a little more chatting time with her. I close my eyes, facing away from the door, thinking of where exactly to bring Weiss in with the force tomorrow. Oh, if I take her to the baby waterfall and follow the creek downstream, they may end up at the lake. That may be nice. Upstream also has a very pretty opening in a little grassland. That'll make for a perfect picnic spot. I think of every possible place I know inside the beautiful yet grim-infested forest. Ultimately, I decide that the picnic spot may be better, even if we do not eat, since there are most likely not as much grim over there as compared to the lake. I have no idea how long I have been lost in my decision making, but suddenly I feel my bed sink behind me a bit. I peek over my shoulder, eyes going wide when two pale hands grab my cheeks and Weiss's lips press to mine, although only for a few seconds. That's for being sweet enough to volunteer yourself, a sleeping bag, and leaving me a bed. But never do that again. Weiss smiles at me and slides off the bed to climb into the sleeping bag. I roll to the edge of my bed and look at her, a portion of my conversation with Yang popping into my head. I wonder if she really does have a house in Vale. Weiss, how many rooms does your house in Vale have? I ask with an extra sweetness to my voice. 2 bedrooms with 2 beds in each. A bathroom in each bedroom, a big shower room, a living room, a kitchen, and I think there's a dining room, she says after thinking on it. Wow, good guess, Yang. Wait, how'd you know I have a house in Vale? Her eyes look at me in realization. I should have thought this through a little more. Well, lucky guess? Such a liar. I don't use it since I am very happy dorming it with the three of you. I haven't had reason to use it, and I have an account building up interest since I never use the money to refurbish the place. Weiss shrugs her shoulders and seems to find a comfortable position in the sleeping bag pretty quickly. Could you show it to me sometime? I ask, laying my head on my pillow but still able to see Weiss. Last day of winter break, we can spend the night there. How's that sound? Weiss asks, smiling at me. Sounds great, I answer, closing my eyes asleep. Also, Weiss starts, making me open my eyes to look at her. Halfway through the break, hopefully I would have already met your dad by then. I want you to come with me to my home and meet my parents. Her parents? But Weiss, what about all those things about your parents not approving? The press eating you alive and all the other stuff. I said this to you a few times, RWBY. I'm not ashamed of our relationship, nor am I making attempts to hide it. I want you to meet my parents and let them take it as they will. If my father gets angry, I suppose it can be looked at as a bonus. The man annoys me. Weiss, you're too rebellious for your own good. I thought my winter break was going to be relaxing. Alright, well, that was chapter 45. Oh, this looks like a... Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'm very sorry for taking a while to upload another, video for this, but it's great to be back, and well, I'm here to stay. Anyways, alright, so I remember talking about my Patreon last video, or of the video before that, and I swear that was completely stupid of me to talk about it, so please disregard it. I don't know. That just seems to be a bit too stupid. Anyways, I hope I see you all later, and stay classy. Also, make sure you hit that like button if you liked it, disliked it if it sucked, or if you like it enough, you can subscribe to my channel for more of this. It really does help, and I thank you guys so much. We're almost already at 100 subscribers, and I cannot thank you enough. The reaction is really priceless when I realized it. Anyways, stay classy, and I hope to see you all later. See ya.